Okay, how's everybody doing this morning? It's actually January 22nd and it's 1:34 in the AM, 1:34 AM. So it's almost noon here in San Diego. And I've noticed, I got up this morning, I was watching the Bitcoin price. I'm sure it's a lot of people watch Bitcoin every day. And we dropped below 40,000. So that's a key point of a support, $40,000. So when we were looking at 50,000 a few days ago. Now we're looking at 39,000. I don't know if it's bouncing around 39, 40,000 as we speak. I'm going to go to my screen here in a second. We're going to talk about that. But I'm going to show you why Bitcoin is dropping right now. And it's going to surprise you because I've been in Bitcoin over 10 years. And outside of one time, I've never seen this happen before. This is the first time I've ever seen this happen before. And it's really unique and unusual. You just can't make this stuff up. That's why I'm not that big into conspiracies, because really the real world sometimes does things bigger than conspiracies. And, when you think there's a few people pulling the levers of the world, you got to look bigger and think, hey, maybe not. Maybe this is just the way the world works. It's confounding. You never can call it. You just, every time you think you got it figured out, something else happens that you have no idea where it came from, and bang, here it is. And that's kind of what we're going through today. So anyway, I'm going to change my screen. We'll take a look at this and we'll talk about it. Because there's two things I look at. When I see Bitcoin going down, there's only two things I look at. And I'll show you the two things I look at. I don't listen to the news. And I want to talk about that for a second, just before I change my screen. Man, I'm telling you, if there's ever been a day where you could hear whatever you wanted to hear on YouTube or on the internet or the message boards. I don't even go to the message boards that much. But whatever you want to hear Bitcoin's crashing, you've got an incredible amount of content saying Bitcoin's crashing. You want to hear that Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million, you got an incredible amount of content saying Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million. In fact, I was listening to Larry Fink last night. I think Larry Fink is starting to become Michael Saylor. I mean, Larry Fink, the biggest fund manager in the world, the guy that controls BlackRock, $11 trillion under management. I listened to him the other night, and I'm telling you, he sounds like Michael Saylor. And if you don't know who Michael Saylor is the biggest Bitcoin bull in the world. And the reason Michael Saylor is the biggest Bitcoin bull in the world is because he's got, I don't even know how many billions of dollars in Bitcoin right now, personally and through his company. He has literally staked his world around Bitcoin. If Bitcoin would fail, Michael Saylor would end up on the streets. I mean, he has taken every dime, every penny. He's borrowed from his company. He's taken all of his personal funds. He's done everything. And then he gets on the internet all day and talks up Bitcoin. Here's a guy that's worth billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. And his sole purpose right now is to get on the internet and talk up Bitcoin. He used to run a company called MicroStrategies, which is a publicly traded company. That was his deal. Now his deal is becoming a content creator on YouTube for Bitcoin, because that's where his whole life revolves, is around Bitcoin. So anyway, and like I say, Fink is sounding about the same way. I listened to Fink the other night, and all Fink talked about was all the wonderful things of Bitcoin and how we're going to be, everything is going to be on the blockchain. And oh my God, all assets are going to be on the, he was just, it was like he was so infatuated and in love with Bitcoin. I couldn't believe it. And he sat there and said, well, a few years ago, I didn't like Bitcoin, but now I think Bitcoin's the future, and Bitcoin, we're going to tokenize everything, he literally said everything is going to the ETFs, exchange traded funds. Everything's going to be on an ETF. Of course, that helps him. And then he literally says that if you own any kind of equity, it's going to be on the blockchain. So if you own whatever equity you want to own, Amazon, it's on the blockchain. You want to own, Apple Computer, great. Your shares are going to be tokenized on a blockchain. That's what he said, literally. I mean, this is literally the world he thinks is coming about. So like I say, Michael Saylor and Larry Fink are both in the same camp. I mean, Fink is insider, a globalist, connected to everything. All the people in the world that have money are connected to a guy like Larry Fink. I mean, Larry Fink is the insider of the insider. Michael Saylor, huge insider also. I mean, he's got MicroStrategies and everything like that, but I do think he's a little more independent thinking. He's a Bitcoiner. So you're getting more and more people just becoming Bitcoiners every day. So anyway, I'm going to change my screen, and we're going to talk about why Bitcoin's down to where it's at right now, wherever it's at. So here we go. Boom. I'm going to change the screen. There we go. Okay, so the two things I look at if I'm, and this is the thing that's crazy. This is what you say can't call. I always look at the hash rate of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin hash rate, we'll just pull that up, because the hash rate is the amount of computing power that is mining Bitcoin right now. This is what makes Bitcoin so strong. So because you cannot attack it, because there's so much computing power right now that are working to solve these, I always call them problems, but to solve an algorithm problem, whatever you want to say it is, that is able to create a block. So you can keep on working. And I notice this morning when I got up, look, it's dropped way off. I mean, we were clear up here. Gosh, we were clear up here, almost 50K. Well, that's a price, but we were clear up here, and you can see how much the Bitcoin hash rate has dropped. And whenever the Bitcoin hash rate drops, the price drops. And the reason the Bitcoin hash rate drops, because what happens is the miners aren't mining. And if the miners aren't mining, then the amount of hash rate drops down, which means the demand for, the price drops. The price drops because there's nobody out there actually competing for those blocks. So the price literally drops, and that's what's happened. So that is right. So my question was, and it's always easy to be on the internet and figure this out, why is the Bitcoin hash price down today? I mean, why is it down? Well, here you go. It's a simple solution, and this is why you can't just say somebody, they can't say BlackRock is driving the price down, because this is what's going on right now on Cointelegraph. And this is today. Well, actually, it was the other day, but this is continuing into today. Is the Bitcoin hash rate dropped by 34% amid freezing temperatures in Texas? Many areas of the Lone Star state experienced sub-zero temperatures in January, a weather event that has previously led to Bitcoin miners temporarily curtailing, and all of a sudden. So they're talking about Bitcoin is down because the hash rate is down, because the weather in the Midwest is so bad, so frigid. A lot of the miners aren't mining, which is just, it's making, they're not competing to build the block. So that's driving the price down. It's right. And then the other thing I look at is the Grayscale Trust, because they have so much Bitcoin and people are converting that. And that's actually pretty low today. So we're at the highest, it was 56, and it's been 47, 26. I'm looking at the volume right here on the far right side. 56, 47, 26, 20, 36, 29. It's 19 today. So that's starting to fall away too. So you don't have a high selling by the Grayscale Trust, Bitcoin Trust. You got the ETFs buying, but you got the miners not mining right now. Until the miners get back to mining because of the cold temperatures, Bitcoin price is going to struggle. And see right here, it's 39,899. That's a support. That's a key support. It's been a long time since it's been down that long. Maybe a month. Maybe let me see it a month ago. No, even more than a month. You got to go out 3 months. So we got to go out clear to the beginning of December when this bull run started, before we're back to these levels. So we're back to where levels we were 2 months ago, almost 2 months ago, because it's the middle of January, almost the end of January. Let me see if it's popped back up over 40,000. So this is the key time. It's 39.7. So we're going down even further. The other thing I think that's happening, and people need to be really, really careful about this, is that it's a panic sale. So there's so many people that heard maybe on, and I think I was just thinking, popped into my mind. Jim Cramer's been calling about Bitcoin price going down. This may be the first time Jim Cramer's actually been correct in his 30 years of being on CNBC, whatever he is on. I mean, I watched him clear back in the tech bubble in the 2000s, or 1990. So that's been 24 years ago. I was watching him. He was wrong every single time. This may be the first time Jim Cramer actually can put a feather in his cap and say, hey, I was right. The Bitcoin price did go down. So, but anyway, it's 39.7. I don't know how much further it's going to drop, because what's going to happen, 39.5. Wow, we're going down. So what's going to happen is, as this price starts to drop, and they'll start mining Bitcoin, and it'll drive the price back up, because if it's easier to mine Bitcoin, there'll be more Bitcoin miners around the world pick up the slack. So because Texas isn't mining Bitcoin, or maybe other parts of the country, but this could very well be a weather-related issue. And that's exactly what I think is going on, is that you just literally have miners that are not mining right now because of the electricity issue. And you can see that with the electric cars. I mean, it's causing an incredible amount of hardship with people that own electric cars in the Midwest right now. So you got a car that usually has a few hundred miles in range. Well, the temperature drops down to 20 below, and maybe your car only goes, 100 miles or 50 miles because the batteries just won't maintain a charge in those that low temperature. So the price of energy is going higher. The demand's higher. Maybe some of these places don't even have. Maybe some of these places that are mining Bitcoin don't even have electricity right now. They could be out of electricity, or electricity could be very, very expensive, or there's a myriad of things that could be going on right now. But anyway, it's driving the Bitcoin price down, which is great for Larry Fink and ETF people, 11 ETF funds that are buying Bitcoin right now, because they're buying Bitcoin at a real deal. They're buying Bitcoin. They're backing the price up a couple months and buying Bitcoin from a couple months ago. So this is a huge drop. Okay, so we're at 40,300 now. We're at 39.5. There's going to be a pretty big bump in this here pretty quick. In fact, I think very soon you're going to see it. Now that it's going down from 35.9, I think it's probably going to take an upturn here pretty quickly, because you're going to see the ETFs buying a lot of Bitcoin when this stuff drops much further. So anyway, don't be panicked, because this is what's going on. It's a combination of miners not mining and people owning Bitcoin that are panicking and saying, oh my gosh, the price is going down to 30,000. We better bail out of it now, because if we don't, we're going to lose. So the panic selling and what's going on with the Bitcoin miners, and the fact that there's just a lot of issues with the weather. Weather has been horrible in the United States of America. I mean, I'm in Southern California, so I don't see it, but we've had bad weather out here because we've had rain the last couple of days. So it's raining out here. It's not good out here either. So that's my idea what's going on with the Bitcoin market. I'll see if anybody else has any ideas. I got 4 people watching. So if you have any questions, I'm live. If you have anything you'd like to say, anything you'd like to add, that's my 2 cents on this thing. Don't panic sell. I've seen this so many times. I've been through this, for 10 years, watching these ups and downs with Bitcoin, and you will see Bitcoin do this. It'll take a tumble, and you'll just think the world's coming to an end. But this is not like a regular equity or a stock. It just doesn't do that. What it does is it's starting to actually, you see a Bitcoin fall off the cliff like this, it's starting to build up momentum. And when it builds up, gets down here so far, it'll bounce back just as hard. I mean, you could see 44, 45K pretty quickly in a few days if this thing continues to tumble. But we know one thing, and that's what you got to keep in mind. You got one thing going for you. We know that there's 11 new ETF funds out there accumulating lots of Bitcoin. We know that. And they're just licking their chops right now. They're just licking their chops by seeing this panic selling, because this panic selling just means opportunity and means cheap Bitcoin for them. So don't give it to them. Don't give them your cheap Bitcoin because you decide that you're afraid that the market's going to drop out. You got Larry Fink, you got Michael Saylor, you got all these other people that are telling you how great Bitcoin is and how wonderful it is. I've seen people tell you that Bitcoin's going to $1 million. We're at 39.5 right now. Who wouldn't be buying at 39.5 if you thought Bitcoin? Kathy Woods, all these people. I mean, all you have to do is open up YouTube, and you got tons and tons of people telling you how great Bitcoin is. And now it's down to 39.5 right now, and people would be scared and sell. I don't understand that logic. It's completely ridiculous. So anyway, I'm going to sign off. 13 minutes, or actually I'll go up to 14 minutes. There'll be a few more seconds. So I'm going to sign off, but please don't be scared, and do not panic, and do not sell your Bitcoin, because it's going to bounce back. I appreciate you watching. Thank you.